and welcome to Economics Unit 3. This video is all about marketing. So when you're running a business and you're planning on introducing a new product, there's a number of strategies that you can engage in before releasing that product and after it's been released as well to maintain momentum. One strategy that many companies will employ before they introduce a brand new product, if they're not really sure if it's going to be successful, is test marketing. Test marketing is done after you've already researched what you think consumers want out of your product or what it is that attracts them to your product, and then you pick just a few areas, just a few cities to release the product in to see how well it will do before you go nationwide. Because the more markets, the more cities that you introduce your product, the greater the risk. If it doesn't sell, you don't make money. If it happens in too many places, you might lose more money than you make in the places where it is successful, so you try it out first. That's test marketing. An example of this is the McLobster. This is something that McDonald's tried, a lobster sandwich, and test marketing showed them that some people like it, but not enough to risk having it available all the time in all the country or even all the world. So they just offer it some places at some times. Another strategy that many companies will use if they feel there will be a lot of competition for their product is penetration pricing. Penetration pricing is selling their new product at a low price, maybe even taking a loss on it to attract customers away from another product that people might have some sense of loyalty for, or some kind of product that people already really like, but they might be willing to try something new if it's cheap enough. Amazon.com is very famous, or some might say infamous, for this. Amazon Prime, for example. Amazon Prime is a subscription fee, and when you pay that subscription fee, you get free shipping. Because of that free shipping, it makes many people kind of lazy, and less than 1% of Amazon Prime members comparison shop. They just buy it off of Amazon Prime because they're thinking in their minds, hey, I'm getting free shipping. That's going to be the best deal, so I'm not even going to compare. Meanwhile, Amazon, knowing this, has increased prices on many of its products to take advantage of the fact that it's offering quote-unquote free shipping for its Prime subscription, and because they know many people won't know because their customers aren't checking them. Another marketing strategy is price leadership. Similar to penetration pricing, but in this case, it's a practice in some industries in which one of the larger or the largest firms, businesses, publishes its price ahead of its competitors, putting it at a better price, forcing them to try to match the prices that they've now announced. The most famous example of this in recent times is Subway. Subway was the fast food price leader for years with its $5 footlong. $5 for a long time became the price point that other fast food restaurants had to keep up with. Like, what can we offer that's a $5 package that is as popular as Subway's $5 sandwiches? Another strategy that many companies use is, of course, product promotion. And yes, this does include advertising on TV and radio and magazines and things like that. But it's not just TV ads. It could be placing it on a napkin, so that when someone is eating their sandwich and someone else sees them eating the sandwich and they see, hey, that's a Subway sandwich, that's promotion. Because if that wasn't for that napkin, someone would just see that person eating a sandwich, not know where it came from, maybe be too shy to ask, and whoever made the sandwich missed out on an opportunity to advertise itself. So product promotion is all about making sure your brand name shows up in as many different places as possible, because you never know when someone might be interested in your product, and if your brand name pops up at the right time, you might get a sale from that. But you can't predict. So you just try to make sure it's as easy to see in as many places as possible. That's product promotion. Now, one of the realities of offering a product is that many products don't last forever. There can only be so many Coca-Colas and Pepsis and Taco Bells. Many products have a life cycle. And even within companies like that, they offer certain products that come, are popular, and disappear. All this has to do with what's known as the stages of a typical product life cycle. Typical meaning average, most common. The first stage is its introduction, the point when that product needs to be explained to people, like, this is what this is. Coca-Cola is not in the introduction cycle. No one needs to explain to you what Coca-Cola is. You already know it. The second stage is the growth stage. This is when prices are going to be at its highest. You'll never be able to charge more for your product than in the growth stage. People already know what it is. It's new enough that they can't be bored of it. And assuming that they like it, of course, this is when the product is at its peak popularity. And you can take advantage of that by charging higher prices than you could at any other stage in the life cycle of the product. The third stage is maturity. Prices begin to drop because the craze is over. It's not the fad it once was, but it could still be very, very profitable. This is where a lot of your name brands settle. Taco Bell, Pepsi, Coca-Cola, they're staple products like Coca-Cola itself and tacos at Taco Bell. These are at a stage of maturity. They're not going to be able to raise the prices too much, but they're not really worried about going into decline and seeing their product disappear. If you can extend both growth or maturity as long as possible, this is where you're going to make the most money off of your product. This is how you keep a business going. The final stage is decline. This is when the product begins to fall out of favor, starts to become less and less popular, and maybe even decline, never to be heard from again. This is something most companies try to avoid for their products, but as long as you made enough profit during the growth and maturity phases, then a decline may not be harmful to you other than you just won't have any future earnings from that product. Now, the last two things to be aware of as a producer is, where are your products going to be sold? And there are two very common choices. One is at wholesalers. Wholesalers are businesses that purchase large quantities of goods from producers such as yourself, if you're making a product, to then resell to other businesses, but not usually consumers. There are companies that will sell directly to the consumers, but most wholesalers buy large quantities from you and then try to resell it for a profit. And who they're selling it to is the retailers. These are businesses that sell consumer goods directly to the people. Most stores that you go to buy things are retailers. Clothes, electronics, food, these are all retailers, whether they use that word or not. Most people think of it when you're talking about buying clothes and electronics, but really, anyone who's selling directly to the consumers, the customers, the people is a retailer. That's it on marketing. If you have any questions, let me know and I'll see you in class.